Today's episode is sponsored by Anchor. My cousin recommended this app to me, and I thought this was an app about boats or anchors for sale or something, but Anchor is a completely free and easy way to start your own podcast. All of the tools are laid out for you from recording to editing to even adding voice messages from listeners. You can also podcast from your phone or computer. Wait, there's more. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it could be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more services. No tedious individual uploading and sharing. And the best part, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That is the free Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm. Hello, everyone. My name is Frank Anthony, and welcome to Let Me Be Frank. Today's topic today, we're going to talk about schoolyard bullying, and I have not just one, two very special guests. Today I have Allison Fiorentino and Jayden Perez. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Right at the same time. So these are both my younger cousins, and
Hi.
I thought it'd be a cool idea because we're all different age ranges. Some of us are really young. I'm the really old one. So I think this will be a good way to just, share some stories, share some facts that we know about bullying, and see if any of you guys out there can relate to this. Before we get into the topic more, I just want to, for any younger viewers that might be viewing this, because there's not going to be any swearing in this episode, you might not know what the definition of bullying is. According to stopbullying.gov, bullying is unwanted, aggressive behavior among school-age children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance, and that behavior can be repeated over time. So we're going to start with the first question, which was kind of each of us going into a bullying situation we may have been through in our lives. I'll start and we can kind of go, I'll start, we can have Allie go next, and then Jayden will be oldest to youngest. So yeah, ninth grade was really tough for me. In general, it was just, I know people usually say freshman year it's so bad, but this was definitely, when it came to school, this was a really hard year for me. A specific bullying situation that had happened was I did chorus in junior high, and I did singing in elementary school too, actually. I decided to do choir in high school, and there was a group of seniors, boys. It was pretty much them and myself. I was one of the very few freshman boys. I think the senior boys were kind of just taking it just because, easy elective, maybe they thought. But they used to stick things on my back, and I was a lot bigger back then, and they'd bully me for my weight. They would bully me for thinking I'm a certain sexual orientation. They bullied me about my singing. Another quick little situation I can add to that happened, because it's something that I have never forget to this day. I mean, I graduated high school 10 years ago, but I'll never forget. I had someone, he was a junior, senior. I was in the cafeteria. He had knocked my lunch tray out of my hands, and he pushed me in the ground. And he said that I have a goose face, whatever that means, and and a pig body, so I should enjoy eating off of the ground. And it's little comments like that that have no substance, no value, that some of us remember the rest of our lives. Those people might never think of this stuff again, but it's something that had carried with me for years and years, and something I can still quote to this day. So it's just, bullying has such a long lasting effect. Allie, was there any situations you wanted to share?
Yeah, well, for a lot of middle school, I was bullied. I was also bullied some in class, but it just stopped bothering me. And I guess it was kind of understandable why I was bullied in middle school. Like, I would show up in cosplays to school. So, I get it.
But that doesn't give, no, that's
No.
not that's not a good enough excuse.
Like, I understand their reasoning, but, like, they never had good insults. It was always just, like, kill yourself, and that's about it. Or I was told I was gay, or that, like, my boyfriend was gay, but my boyfriend was gay. Like, I never experienced anything as bad as you. I think people just didn't care enough to do that.
Well, I mean that is good if it wasn't anything ever too
Yeah.
severe.
I was mostly just known as, like, the weird anime girl, and unfortunately I kept that status through high school. Any type of I guess like bullying I received in, like, high school was probably mostly my freshman year. I blocked out most of that. Like, people just weren't nice to me. I would, like, answer a question in class and someone would just yell at me to shut up. And it was like, well, okay, I guess. And then, like, this year, I took an AP class and everyone would just say I was stupid. Which,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
yeah. But, I think the difference from middle school to high school is that when people would say really mean things to me in middle school, it really got to me. And it hurt really bad. And now in high school, it just makes me mad.
Mm.
Oh, I don't I don't know if this counts as bullying, but my ex's friend told me he broke up with me because I was fat and ugly.
I mean, yeah, that's obviously not nice.
Yeah, no, it wasn't nice. But
Jeez, who said that?
my ex's friend.
Oh, jeez.
I was just like, yeah, he never told me why we broke up, and he was like, oh, because everyone said you were fat and ugly. He should just leave you. And I was like, oh, okay.
Do you think so? Any like stuff like that and the bullying that you did go through, do you think any of that stuff like changed you in certain ways, like made you act differently?
The fat and ugly thing definitely got to me. Later on that day, I had gym class, and I just sat in the bathroom and cried the entire period. And I still think about it a lot.
That's awful.
Most of the middle school stuff, like I said, never really got to me because they weren't exactly specific and not poking on my insecurities. Like I said, it was very copy paste. Oh, kill yourself, emo kid. You're a lesbian. So that didn't get to me as much.
Okay.
But that was like the number one thing that got to me, and people thinking I was stupid really got to me, just because I do put on like a dumb, funny sidekick persona, but people
I did
think
that
I'm
too.
yeah, people think I'm like genuinely stupid now, and they're like, "You're taking honors classes? How are you passing them?"
No, I totally get that. I did when I lost the weight, it was like you couldn't be smart and somewhat attractive. So like I had to change my, because when I was fat, it was, oh well, like we can cheat off of him, like he's he's got the brains. But then when I lost the weight, it was like, oh no, like he's an idiot. Like what? So it's just, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Jayden, do you have any stories you'd like to share today?
I actually do. So when I was in third grade, these kids kept bullying me because they thought I was gay. But I wasn't. So they just kept talking about me, that I was gay and stuff, and I just ignored it. So then it got to the point where
You
they kept
choked
calling
him?
me gay, and then just my friend
Oof.
But
just
your
choked
friend
him.
choked you.
No, my friend.
Oh, okay. So he came to your aid.
No, my friend choked the guy.
Okay,
that
Did
was
he get
bullying
in
me.
trouble for that?
Yes.
Did anything happen to the other kid the kids
He
that
got
were
suspended
bullying?
for a week, but
Okay.
yes, he also got suspended for 2 weeks because he kept doing it constantly through the year, and then now he just
That's
thinks
interesting
we're
that
friends, but I'm not
he
his
views
friend.
you that way.
Yeah, literally. And then through the year he would be like, oh, he would try to be kind to me, and then the day after, oh, you're so annoying. Oh my God, you're such a girl. Like, I
Elementary
don't
school
care.
is really
You're the
weird.
one that acts like Cardi B, so I don't care.
School is weird. I honestly I feel bad for you guys
Yeah.
being younger generations. I feel like it just gets harder and harder.
And everyone kept calling
I
me fat, and I
genuinely
said,
believe that
have you
children
looked
are
at
just like
yourself in
little
the mirror?
psychopaths and they just don't understand empathy and just say things. Like,
But that's why no, go ahead, sorry.
like even Jayden, I remember when you were a kid, you asked me what was wrong with my face because I had acne. And like kids just like say things just
Yeah,
to
he
see
just
what
didn't.
happens.
He didn't. Well, I think that's why hopefully younger kids or younger individuals will listen to this podcast and hopefully learn something, hopefully take something out of this.
Yeah.
Because we just need to, and even adults too. There's still adults that bully people. I mean, I
Yeah.
see it online all the time, and we'll get into that stuff too. And
Oh
just
my God.
people need to just learn how to respect and treat one another. All right, so we are back. We left off on, I'll go next, and then we'll have Allie. We were talking about have we ever been a boy ourselves, and I was starting to say that unfortunately I was a bully at one point since ninth grade was just so bad with the bullying, especially about my weight and stuff. That summer before 10th grade, I was so sick and tired of being called those names, and I worked like extremely, like way too hard to lose the weight, and I lost like 70-80 pounds, and I pretty much went down to like 120 pounds. I was almost 200 or like 200 pounds before.
Yeah.
And when I lost that weight, I thought that, oh, like I lost this weight, I'm gonna be happy now. I'm gonna be completely happy, but I wasn't. I still had insecurities, and I had all this pain I had held on to from those bullying experiences and just pain in life that I ended up bullying the bullies back. And I ended up also bullying people that never bullied me in the first place. And I just became very manipulative. I would do some examples where I was I was good with computers and stuff. So I figured out like, well, I mean, it's easy to make a fake profile on social media, maybe not for older people, but back in the day, like that was still, like people were just starting to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to make a lot of fake profiles. I would bully people that way. I would get other people to fight with each other. I learned how to hack social media profiles, and I would just do all these crazy things that way. And I started becoming someone I definitely didn't want to be. I definitely wasn't a good role model. I kind of hid it in a way, but the people that I was friends with at that time definitely knew the type of person I was, and it definitely wasn't the best person, unfortunately. So I want to say most of my stuff was probably cyberbullying, like kind of like a sneaky behind your back way of bullying. But then I did have some moments too where I just would flip out on people, and when that would start, I was just relentless. I wouldn't stop until that person was like wanted to die, pretty much, which is awful. Allie, how about you? Have you ever been a bully yourself?
I was kind of a bully in like the 5th grade, which was a while ago. There was this one kid, and he was kind of weird, and he would just like follow me and my friends around, but not really talk to us, and we didn't really know who he was, so we all just started calling him a stalker, and like we were still his friend. It was weird, but we were just calling him a stalker, and I feel bad about it now.
I was gonna
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, that's one thing I forgot to mention is that doing all these things that I did, it left me with nothing but regret and just feeling bad, and it's stuff you can't take back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really was only doing it because my friends were doing it and we thought it was funny. He, like I said, he was still like our friend. Like we would hang out with him. He would sit at our lunch table and we would talk to him. But we still sort of thought he was like weird and would be like, "Oh my god, you're such a stalker." But other than that, I never really bullied anyone. Maybe like cyberbullying, I guess, but not like people I know.
I think it's easier to, unfortunately, it's easier to bully people over the internet. People do it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an example. I remember on TikTok who's a huge Republican and is just like homophobic and stuff said that he was taking a break from TikTok, and I just commented, "Oh, thank God." But just like that type of
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll just say I won't say the friend's name just to protect the identity, I guess, but a friend of mine and myself. So Jayden, I think I introduced it a little bit, but there was a website long ago called MySpace.
Oh my.
And MySpace was the Facebook, which now Facebook's not really much, I guess, anymore. But yeah, MySpace was one of those first like really big social medias, and there was just these. I don't know. I don't think other social medias, well, at least ones that I know, I don't think do this anymore. Thank God. But there used to be just these open chat rooms where any age anyone could go in them, and
that's illegal.
It was so bad. Like I'm shocked no one. I mean, I hope there wasn't too many repercussions because my friend and I, who were in high school, we would be fighting with like these 30-year-olds. Like we'd be just calling them names out of nowhere and trigger them, and they would go back at us, and just really weird. And what made it only, not that the bullying was funny, but my profile picture was Stewie Griffin from Family Guy. And their profile picture was Hamtaro. I don't know if you guys know that hamster.
Oh wait, is that like anime one? Oh,
yes.
Oh my god.
So these two like random pictures are just bullying everyone in this chat room. Like it's just it was. It's not one of my proudest moments.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's gonna start with. Maybe Allie, then Jayden, then myself. We could try. Did you ever tell your parents or anyone working at the school about being bullied? If yes, what did they do about it? If no, what was the reason?
I'm starting. Or
I can start.
Yeah, you can start. Or Jayden, whoever.
All right. So, yeah, I would yeah, I have told my parents about this bullying like I have told you, the one I just told you about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've told my parents and my teacher. My parents didn't really do anything, but like they would call the school and the principal
Well,
give me a
that,
bully complaint form. My teacher, I would just write it down, and then she wouldn't do anything. So I said, "Yep, I'll take matters to my own hands."
so what did so what do you think what do you think they should do instead? Because you said they have these bully
Yes,
forms,
at my
right?
school, yes.
So what are they supposed to be doing
The bully forms,
with them?
they would
Yeah.
give them to our disciplinarian or our principal.
And then like would they send out like punishment or something, or like try to talk to
They would
the
talk to them, or they
student?
would have if it's really bad, they would have suspension. But if it's like nothing, a big like it's like a little thing, but it's rude and offensive, they would have you go into the in-house, which is where our disciplinarian's office is. It's where all like the kids that get in trouble go.
Okay. Okay. How about you, Allie?
The only time I trolled a teacher was like one time in the third grade. There was this kid on my bus who would always call me fat, and I don't really remember what happened, but someone told me that another kid reported another kid for bullying. I don't remember any of the people, and I was like, "Wait, you can do that?" I just didn't realize it was an option. So I literally walked into this kid's classroom, which was next to mine, and I said to the teacher in front of the whole class, "Hey, he's been bullying me." And then I left. Um Other than that, I didn't really bother. By middle school, I knew nothing would happen anyways. And even if something did happen, it was the type of kids that just really wouldn't care. Like, they would just be like, oh,
Hmm.
whatever, it's detention, it's not that big of a deal. And then they would just do it again later. So I would just ignore it.
Yeah.
And then, um, I don't know, in high school, there was only really one time, which was in the AP class, and I just vented to my teacher about it.
I'm gonna throw this in. Is there anything either one of you wish that teachers and school staff would do? Because I know I have some teacher friends and stuff, and I don't I think for some people listening, especially working in the educational field like this, to just it'd be nice to start getting certain things rolling, because I know some schools do certain things, but it sounds like a lot of schools still don't.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you guys wish they did to help you guys?
Um, like they probably like they should like have go to lunch detention or something if it's big. If it's like a little, it's have you guys heard of pink slips?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you get a pink slip in one day, they don't give it to you. But if you get it on like 2 days, if you get two referrals or pink slips or more, they will have you get lunch detention. But like if you get one referral and it's really bad, they won't give you lunch detention. Like I wish they would. If
Okay.
it was really bad, I wish they would do that. Have lunch detention, give them lunch detention. But they don't do that at my school.
So yeah, they're not even taking that step. And this Allie and I went to the same school, and so we had people going to detention, but like Allie said, it was kids that maybe they just felt hopeless in their own lives and just thought like, oh well, I'm just gonna keep doing this because it's not like the punishment's severe enough, or like also Allie said, like they just don't care
Yeah.
their own, which is sad. It's something that I think we need to do better on.
Improve.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, I had most of the stuff for my mom, I told years later, and she was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" There's one situation that I did tell her that so my this was ninth grade again, just tough year, but my my English teacher in ninth grade, I won't say a name, I noticed I noticed with my assignments, maybe I don't think it was right from the beginning, but almost the whole year, I was getting -10 on every single assignment I turned in.
Wow.
And one day, and I was kind of nervous to ask because I mean, I was a ninth grader and just, I don't know, like I was like, maybe I am doing something wrong. I mean, they're the teacher and you should be able to trust that your teachers are making like ethical choices in their job. But one day I had went to her desk and I asked why I got -10 on this assignment. I mentioned that I noticed I'm getting -10 on a lot of assignments, and I'm the type of student where I'm trying to go for the A, the 100.
Mhm.
And so if there's any constructive criticism, like I'll apply it, I'll make it work, and I'll get that grade.
Yeah.
But she, for quote, said, "Because I feel like it."
Oh my.
What?
There was no, yeah, I swear, there was no like reason besides I feel like it. So that was the one time I told my mom, and ironically, my friend was in, I guess she was hosting detention, and my friend was in it, and it was because it was in her classroom, and my mom, I guess the teacher had set the meeting with my mom during that time, and my friend was like, "Yo, your mom cussed her out."
Oh my.
And I'll say, "You guys know Lisa." I'll say she can, yeah,
You gotta tell me
she
what
was
teacher
pissed.
this is after.
I will. I think, I don't know if you had her or not, or if she was still at the school.
Yeah.
She might have been, but I'll tell you later. But I also had told, which maybe that's another I could maybe tell later. I don't even know if I remember this one's name, but there was a guidance counselor there as well. And this was during all the choir stuff. It was just, I ended up not taking choir the next year because I didn't want to go through this again. I mean, who would want to go through like literal hell?
Yeah.
But oh, they used to, I forgot to mention too earlier, they used to like lick their hands and put it on the back of my neck, or like spit on the back of my neck.
That's so
the
yeah,
early
it was just,
2000s were a lawless time.
I blame Paris Hilton. No, and MTV, and that MTV. No, but I had told the guidance counselor about it, and for quote, what she said was, "What do you want me to do about it?"
Oh my.
And it's like, it's your job. Like I thought that was the job, but I realized, unfortunately, at our school, a guidance counselor's role, at least at this time, was just like a schedule maker. Like they really, that's sad. You know, that kind of, actually, that pisses me off because it's like, and it's kind of why I'm going to school for psychology for my master's. And one of my routes may be a school counselor or something, because I can't, like, you need to do the job requirements of a counselor in a school, like, especially the ages that you guys are and the age that I was, is just really tough to get through. And sometimes it feels like you have no support, or that you're going through this alone, which you're not, but it's really hard not to think that. And so this person can really make a big difference in that person's life. And yeah, I know I had a couple teachers, but you would think a guidance counselor would be someone to be able to at least resolve something. And yeah, they resolved nothing.
This actually
for me back
happened
then.
to me sophomore year. So at my school, which we went to the same school, not much has changed. All of like the department heads are like, "Oh, if you're ever feeling mentally unwell, go to the guidance department." And I remember sophomore year I did, and I was like, "Hey man, like I'm very suicidal right now." And what he said, like verbatim, was like, "Oh, well, you have a 98 in English. You're doing really good." And then I was like, yeah, but that doesn't help. And he was like, well, I don't know what to do in this situation.
He said,
Yeah, he
I don't
basically
know.
was like, I'll send you to someone who might know what to do.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
God.
all right, cool.
Were there even, or yeah, there was multiple
Yeah, he
guidance
sent me to
counselors,
another
right?
guidance counselor that actually has some emotional like training, some psychology experience, but he had none.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's just, yeah, that's insane. And he took like one of the, I feel like he just was like, oh, what are certain, which I may list some later, but it was like he took one of the like, oh, what's one of the symptoms or the factors of someone being bullied or going or feeling a certain way. And it was like, oh, bad grades is one, but she doesn't have those. Like, let's just put
Yeah, he
that
was
smile
trying
on
to
her
be
face
like,
and send
well,
her
why
her
are you
way.
sad? You're doing great in English. And I was like, um, well,
That's weird. On that note, we're going to take a commercial break here before we get into the rest of this. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Okay, so we left off with Jayden. Do you think we are all bystanders?
We can be, but then we can be not. Like we can do it sometimes, but then sometimes we don't even notice we're doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I think we can be bystanders sometimes. Not everyone can, but I know some people can.
I think, yeah, I think we're capable of having bystander moments. So for example, I'd ride the bus to Stick, and if two people were fighting on that bus, I most likely was not jumping in that or
Yeah.
trying to defend one person or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was, I was gonna say, yeah, that was, I definitely had some moments like that where I wasn't always trying to defend someone, but I know if I do see some sort of wrongdoing, especially with bullying, I do want to work on maybe getting, like, if it's a safe situation, being like defending and being there for that
Yeah.
person instead of just watching it.
I've done it one time. I've done it a few times, I should say.
Okay, good. Allie, you're still there, right?
yes, I am still here
I
as
want to
far
make
as I know.
I want to make sure no one gets muted, so maybe we just have to all talk enough.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that there are different types of bystanders?
I did not know.
So there are what we know there are I learned this in my class. There are followers, and they take an active part in bullying that they didn't start. There is the passive supporters. They like the bullying, but they don't display their support.
Mm-hmm.
We have disengaged onlookers, and those are the typical bystanders we think of. They don't really take a side. They don't do anything about it. They're just watching what's going on.
Yeah.
We have possible defenders. They don't like the bullying and they want to help, but they don't end up doing anything. And then there's defenders of the target, which just like the bullying, and those are the people that are actually doing something about the bullying.
Okay.
What can we do to decrease bullying? And I say decrease because I would love to say what can we do to stop bullying. I feel like it's going to take years to,
Yeah.
if possible, to actually have bullying become extinct. So what do you guys think? What are some things we could do?
Allie, you want to go first?
Sure. I don't think bullying is ever gonna stop because if you think about it, like when you think about bullying, you think about like school place bullying, but like bullying is just being mean to people, and there's just mean people in this world, and they're gonna be mean.
Yeah.
About dealing with bullying, there's got to be more repercussions, but if anything, you should just show people how bad their ways is.
Yes.
And since you can't stop it, maybe just try to protect people from having to endure it.
I agree. Yeah.
I totally agree.
Jayden, any thoughts on how to decrease bullying?
I mean, like, trying to stay out of it, that's what comes to my mind, just trying to stay out of the problem. But I know some people try to stay out of it, but then they just get dragged into it.
Mm.
I mean, that sometimes that gets happened to me, but then I would fake that I would go, but then I would just walk away to help me get away from the problem.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I would do. I don't know about anyone else that would do that, but that's what I would do. I would think, because trying to walk away from the problem is trying to not get involved and stuff. That's what I would do.
Okay.
So is that when like you're being bullied or when someone else is being bullied?
When someone else is being bullied, or basically me. Like my friend, this kid I was talking about, they called me gay, and my friend kept saying, "Come on, that person just wants to talk to you," and I would say no, and I would never go. And then later on in the class, they kept looking at me, and I would just look away. Or I would try to get a hold of my teacher and ask either for a note card to write and give it to her.
Okay, yeah. So that works instead of obviously like getting involved and you guys are fighting and the behavior escalates.
Yeah.
I think having open communication helps. Like, just something to add. I think an important thing to add for parents or school staff listening is to look at warning signs of the child, to just see that maybe something is going on. For example, if this is a lot of these examples are for parents, but for some school staff too, if there's unexplained injuries on them, I would consider that a warning sign. If their grades are potentially slipping, if they have a loss of interest in school or activities at school, activities they normally love, if they're frequently having headaches or stomach aches, if personal items of the child's are lost or destroyed, if when they're coming home from school, if they're rushing to the bathroom. It's something that might not be related to bullying, but it might be a sign that they're afraid to go to the bathroom at school because there's bullies waiting there for them. So those are just some, I think it's important to look at those warning signs, because then that's when you would talk to the child. Hopefully they would open up, and then you guys can move forward from there, and hopefully something actually happens, unlike some of our experiences.
Yeah.
So we have a question from Greg on Facebook. He asked, he said, "I was a victim of bullying. How can I help current victims?" Who wants to start?
I don't really, but if I have to, I will.
Me or Allie can start if you want.
Okay, yeah.
I'll say, oh.
Yeah, could you repeat the question again? My dad just walked in.
Okay. So I feel like I hear the dog in the background.
It's mine.
Okay. So Greg from Facebook said, "I was a victim of bullying. How can I help current victims?"
I think with victims, just talking to them and telling them that a lot of people go through it and that they're not alone in what they're experiencing. is
Yes.
one way to help them. Even just like I don't know if Greg's in school anymore, but if he is standing up for them when he can, and if he's not, if he sees something along the lines trying to help to peacefully resolve it.
Yeah.
Because in the end, if you like try to resolve it with anger or hostility, it's just going to create more anger in the bully. If you try to peacefully do it, then hopefully they'll see that they're not being a good person and nothing will happen.
Yeah, those are definitely good points. When I saw this question, one thing I learned in my class was that instead of, because I noticed he had said current victims, and what I learned was to say target instead of victim, because when the child, like if a child or anyone is a victim in this situation, it kind of says that they're powerless, that things aren't going to ever change. And I feel like with being a target of bullying, I think kids should know that they're not powerless, and that with the support of people in the educational system and in their own life, like parents or whatever,
Yeah.
that they can change what's happening to them.
Okay.
I had also added that just some little tips. If a child is being bullied in school, they should contact their teacher, school counselor. Hopefully these people actually help. School principal, superintendent if necessary, and they could even contact the State Department of Education. And I wanted to write down the number for the National Suicide Prevention Hotline for any children who are going through bullying and they feel suicidal. I want to say during ninth grade, that was one of the first times I did. I really felt hopeless. I don't know if you guys feel, because I figure I might as well ask, do you guys feel like when it comes to bullying, you guys have some resources so that you don't feel that way, or like any vices?
I can at least talk to my friends or my therapist. Other than that,
and then Jayden, any?
Off the top of my head, really, I think, like Allison said, talking to a therapist or like talking to an adult, like to help fix the problem. Because if you're just like talking to, let's say, a person that doesn't even go to your school or doesn't even like contact the school for you, say like your parents' friends, you don't want to go to them. I would like go to my dad, my mom, or my aunts, really, that can get in touch if I'm not with my parents. I can get in touch with my parents.
Okay. Yeah, I know I felt like the friend group I had at the time, this was, like I said, ninth grade before the 10th. I had different friends than I did through the rest of high school. And those ones were, if anything, some of them were actually kind of bullying me. And I realized that years later that I absolutely had no support at the time, it felt like, from anyone. So I think that's why I just felt in such a dark place. And the internet and social media were just starting. They weren't as big. I don't know. I feel like there are definitely a little bit more support, at least, than there was 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
For that type of stuff. But sorry, I didn't even say the number. For anyone that feels like they need to contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline, it is 1-800-273-8255. That is 1-800-273-8255. Also, if you're someone that wants to help victims of bullying and you're not the child, or you're someone that's not in the school system yourselves, you can try to host anti-bullying events. You can use federal and non-federal resources to help plan bullying prevention work. I just believe that communication and spreading knowledge about this subject is key. The more that we're informed about this issue, I think the more we'll tackle it, and hopefully things like this conversation will help spread that.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any other comments?
No, not really.
Okay, Allie, any other comments?
I just think a lot of the people that are bullies are people that are going through tough times themselves.
Yes.
Personally, for me, the way I dealt with bullying was just thinking of it that way. Just thinking of the fact that they probably don't mean anything they're saying and are just victims themselves.
Yeah.
That's definitely a really good way of thinking about it. It's definitely something I wish I knew years ago.
Don't let what people say get to you. That's the moral, in my opinion.
I
Yes,
totally agree.
A lot easier said than done, but
it is. But I definitely want people out there to know that you have support out there and don't feel like you are alone. And yeah, so that's today's episode on schoolyard bullying. I want to thank today's sponsor to make this happen. I want to thank Allison and Jayden for coming on to the show. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
thanks for
I'm going to
having
also, you're welcome. I want to thank Sakura HZ. He is the creator of the beautiful intro that you guys will hear at the beginning of the episode. And I want to thank Tokyo Music Walker, who does the outro song for season one, at least season one's episodes. And you'll hear that after we're done. And I also want to thank each and every one of you out there for listening. I hope you guys get something out of this. And by the way, Allie and Jayden, I miss you guys.
Miss
I miss you too.
I miss you guys so much. I hate this virus.
Me too.
Yeah.
I've just been stressed at school.
And it's back to same. But on that note, thank you guys. I hope everyone out there has a great day, and bye.
Bye.
Bye.